Attention, attention, all personnel. Incoming podcast. This is MASH Matters.
Hello, it's MASH Matters, the podcast celebrating the greatest television series of all time, MASH, which, I'm a big fan of. My name is Ryan Patrick, and this guy, he was on it, Jeff Maxwell. Jeff, how are things in your world?
Oh, they're just fine, and I was on it, and you weren't. Oh, no, I'm not.
Rub it in, why don't you?
Rub it in. I wish you had been. Had you been auditioning for something on MASH, you would have been. I know you would have. You'd have gotten a part.
But I would have been like fun. 4 years old, and that would have been weird.
Well, that's true.
You
could have played one of the kids in the orphanage, though. You could have done that.
I could have, I guess.
A little makeup on there.
Yeah, you should see my Korean orphan. I do a really good Korean orphan. Yeah.
Do you? Okay. Oh, gee, it's too bad.
I know.
Oh, well.
Today, we are going to be doing an episode called Housekeeping because we're going to be cleaning up a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. We took a holiday hiatus late last year. Then we came back with the season 9 recap, and then we had this wonderful, beautiful tribute to Loretta Swit. And so we haven't really had an opportunity yet to go back to some of the emails and messages and things that we got from people who were talking about things that we referenced in the last few episodes before we took our break. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to do today, is just clean up some messes that we made and tie a little bow on it and send it on its way.
Indeed. And we may just actually start with a bit of a controversy.
Yeah, this one took me by surprise.
It did me too. We're not a controversial show. We don't talk about vibrant political issues or disagreements or anything, though we could, but we don't do it right here because
right.
Everybody else does it 24 hours a day almost. We have fun, and normally we don't have any significant disagreements about anything. But today, in this housekeeping day, of all housekeeping day, we do have something that a wonderful listener named Cindy sent to us. Cindy writes, and she says, "Hello, my name is Cindy Angel, and I am the daughter of George Lamb, who owned aircraft and helicopter supply in Sun Valley, California. The Bell 47 helicopters that were used on MASH actually belonged to my dad and not Ray Poss. Ray was one of the pilots my dad used to fly the helicopters, but they did not belong to him. I remember very well growing up that my dad would come home at night and talk about the helicopters being used in the movie first and then in the show. I just would like this information corrected to say accurate details regarding the helicopters. My dad also did the helicopter ride at Port of Call and around the faces of Mount Rushmore." So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, we had Ray Poss on as a guest. He was terrific, and he said a lot of wonderful things. Mm-hmm. And I don't, quite frankly, remember the exact description of how he owned what or didn't, but apparently Cindy heard it and felt that he was incorrect.
Yeah, there was a claim. And look, we're not taking sides here. Mm-hmm. We don't know who owned what, when, how, where. We don't know. Which is, kind of par for the course with this podcast.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. Yeah.
We have Ray saying that he owned the helicopters. We have Cindy saying her father, George Lamb, owned the helicopters. I don't know, but all of the information is out there. We felt it was good to address the situation because we were the one who put Ray Poss out there saying that he owned the helicopters. And if Cindy has different information, she was entitled to let us know about that. And we were entitled to at least put it out there for everybody to know.
Yeah. And if Mr. Poss would like to call or come over and beat us up, around the head and neck, he's welcome to do that, I guess.
Yes,
but
I can't wait to be served to appear in court over this.
Oh, golly.
Anyway, Cindy, thank you for writing. We appreciate the information. And there you go. Mm-hmm. We've made it public.
There you go.
All right. So moving on, we heard from Lorraine. And Lorraine said, first off, much love and eternal gratitude to both of you for this podcast. Perfect. No notes. Well, thank you. She says, I just finished episode 140, where a fellow MASH fan from the UK wrote in mentioning the most underrated episodes, and you solicited additional listener response. So here's my contribution. Season 11, episode 10, You In, the Night and the Music. The chemistry and energy between Margaret and the Swedish diplomat was fun to watch, even though I know their marriage in real life ended in divorce. In my opinion, it was a good plot line giving Margaret a chance to combine her natural passion as a woman with an army nurse's understanding of the psychological impact of combat injuries. As a fellow yogi, I love Colonel Potter and Klinger scenes in this one, even though the headstands were obviously fake. And of course, the butler's son. In the same podcast, Jeff responded to another listener's question and mentioned the possibility of returning to TV. To that, I say heartily, yes, please. Jeff, I will admit to a small, non-stalking type of crush on you since I saw Igor in Payday Season 3, Episode 22. Those slight dimples when Igor smiles as Father Mulcahy joins the poker game are delightful and should be seen on TV again, if at all possible. Love and best wishes to you both, Lorraine in Ohio.
I think that's it. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Lorraine. That's the end of the podcast. Well, interesting comments about the episode itself and the plot and all those things. And certainly, I am very flattered. And thank you very much for that crush and those dimples. Quite frankly, everywhere I go, those dimples just really slay people. So I thank you, Lorraine. It's hard to live in this world with those dimples. It is. It's tough.
I don't know how you do it.
I have to have, people around me, stuff, walking through. And in terms of returning to TV, I meant returning to watching TV. That's what I was speaking of. I probably will do that.
You did mention that you were thinking about getting back into acting.
I did. I did. And I am actually still thinking about it. I'm thinking about it right now, as a matter of fact, because Lorraine brought it up. But yes, I am seriously considering. So we'll keep everybody tuned in.
Okay. Right.
So you can tune out if you want, if I do end up on TV. Well, anyway, Lorraine, thank you so much. Very sweet of you to say, and I really appreciate it. If you do want to start stalking, okay, go ahead. What the heck?
It's been a while, hasn't it, since you've had a stalker?
It has, yeah.
Yeah.
Charlene writes, and she says, my personal pick for an underrated episode is George. It's as pertinent today as it was then, if not more so.
And just to clarify, we're not talking about your bird.
Okay.
It's the episode, George. Moving on, we have, over the course of the last 8 years that we've been doing this podcast, this topic keeps resurfacing. It's about rebooting MASH. Should MASH ever be rebooted? And we had a couple more thoughts on that because it came up recently. Tim said, one thing I'd like to say with shows like All in the Family and The Jeffersons coming back and the consensus that I agree with that this should not happen for MASH, what about if they brought it back for an episode called MASH 8063rd? And it's a MASH type episode, but for another camp. Same rules, same universe, same type of characters and surgical situations and jokes, but a whole new crew of soldiers and doctors would need to be created. I wouldn't mind that as long as they aren't copying the originals. Anyway, keep up the good work, and here's looking up your old address, and have a good day. Well, Tim, that's an interesting thought right there, is instead of rebooting MASH, let's just have another MASH. Let's have the 8063rd, and we see everything that's happening there. I could get behind that.
I know of, and I can't reveal at this moment who, but I know of a person who has been working on an idea that is very similar to an episode called MASH 8063rd.
Okay.
I don't know how close that is to being developed seriously, but I do know that people were, this one gentleman was working on it. So who knows?
It's interesting.
If I know more stuff, I will spill the beans as soon as I think it's valid.
As soon as the non-disclosure expires, right?
Yes, right. Yeah. And our friend David writes, Ryan and Jeff, you had a listener in your show number 143 who wondered about the idea of doing a prequel series to MASH that would look at the lives of the characters prior to the Korean War. Granted, we did get a little bit of a look at that through home movies of Colonel Blake and Frank Burns that were included in a couple of episodes of the series. Plus, After MASH had a pair of episodes that showed us a flashback of Sherman Potter and Mildred during World War II, as well as the moment when Klinger actually first arrived in Korea. But a MASH prequel? Actually, it was already done. Well, at least for about 33 seconds. Check this out from an episode of the HBO series Not Necessarily the News, which I used to watch. Originally aired April 9th, 1984, which TV viewers got to see around the time that After MASH was winding down its first season over on CBS.
And he includes a link And I don't know if you had a chance to watch the link, Jeff.
I did not. I have not.
I'm not going to play the audio from it because, 1984, you could get away with things on TV more in 1984 than you can now when it comes to racial stereotypes. Mm-hmm. This little clip was from a show called Not Necessarily the News, which was... It was a comedy show based on the real news. So it's not the Daily Show, but they would do skits and they would add voiceovers to real footage from the news. And this was on HBO back in 1984. Very popular series.
It had an edge, didn't it? It definitely had an edge.
It did. And because it was on HBO, they could get away with a little bit more.
Sure.
This clip, they said, okay, you loved MASH and you loved after MASH. Well, here's before MASH. And it's basically some Koreans out in the field talking about how boring it is and wouldn't it be great if some doctors showed up and made some jokes, which is a cute little concept. The only thing is that it's, American actors doing really bad Korean accents and stereotypes. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to play the audio, but we will put the link in the show notes. If you would like to watch the clip, it's right there. As soon as you click on it, it should go right to the clip. And it is about 33 seconds long, but that is the MASH prequel that David is referring to.
Again, another controversial moment on MASH Matters.
I had no idea this was going to be so controversial.
Yeah.
We're only a few minutes in. Okay. Well, moving on. Emma, now this is not going to be controversial. I don't know if you remember, but back, this was episode 143. Emma wrote to us. She was 12 years old. I assume she's still 12. She might be 13 by now. I don't know. But she talked about how excited she was to listen to the podcast and she loved to listen to it while she walked her dog. And we said, hey, we'd love to hear more about your dog. Well, Emma wrote back and she said, Dear Jeff and Ryan, I was so excited to hear my email read on your podcast to answer your questions from episode 143. I started watching MASH over the summer with my grandparents. My dog is a 4-year-old yellow lab. His name is Bo, short for Boatswain. She said my dad was in the Navy, hence the name. My mom was a flight nurse, and my dad also worked on an ambulance, so that's one of the main reasons I can watch MASH. She says, over the summer, I was so hooked on MASH, I sent Jamie Farr and Alan Alda a letter. Jamie Farr responded, and I received 2 signed photos. Also, being homeschooled, I've been able to read most of the actors' books. I even did a book report for school on Alan Alda's Things I Overheard While Talking to Myself. For my grandpa's birthday, I bought him and me matching MASH shirts. My parents do like me watching MASH, but I'm not allowed to have TikTok, YouTube, or any social media platforms. Well, that's probably not a bad thing, Emma. Watching MASH has inspired me to become a field surgeon. Where I live in Pennsylvania, I am roughly 3.5 hours away from Toledo, Ohio. I hope to go there someday. I want to visit the Mud Hen Stadium, Paco's Hot Dogs, and go to Jamie Farr's Park. I am currently trying to recruit a friend from my swim team to watch MASH. Thanks for all the wonderful podcasts. I love listening to them. And Emma did include a picture of her dog, Bo, and we will put a picture of the dog, Bo, in the show notes of this episode if you would like to see Emma's beautiful dog, Bo.
Doggy woogie, doggy, 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 woogie. What a cutie. That's interesting. I didn't realize that you could become a field surgeon at 11. I didn't realize that. It's inspired me to become...
She's 12, Jeff. She's 12. Don't insult her. She's 12.
Field surgeon. Yes. You can be a field surgeon at 12? Really?
I think she means when she gets older.
Oh.
At least I hope so.
Yeah, for all of her patients' sakes. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really sweet, Emma. And Emma, you and I share a bucket list item. I also want to go to Toledo, Ohio someday and go to a Mud Hens game and go eat a Tony Paco's hot dog and do everything that you said. Maybe we'll bump into you there, Emma, when we were both in Toledo someday. Well,
we should try. At one point, there was some talk about us going to Tony Paco's and actually doing a podcast from there.
Yeah.
Maybe we could revive that somehow and convince them that they really should send us first-class airplane tickets on round trip.
Emma, here's what you need to do. You need to write to Tony Paco's and tell them how awesome our podcast is and tell them that you want us to come and do the podcast at Tony Paco's.
Whoa, good move, Ryan.
I mean, who's going to turn down a 12-year-old field surgeon with a beautiful dog named Bo? Right?
No person could do that.
Nope.
Oh, Emma, thank you. Well, moving on to Cindy. Cindy says, hi, Jeff and Ryan. I love you guys. This is good. This is a great podcast. I mean, I know, Ryan, right? We got people with crushes and dimples and people love us. Wow. I watched MASH faithfully when it was first aired, whatever night they moved it to. I loved all of them, although I'm a little more partial to the early days. I was brokenhearted when Henry died and when Trapper left, but I also loved Colonel Potter and BJ. The show maintained its excellence even with these major personnel changes, but I think it wasn't quite as good after Radar left. It lost some of its innocence. When I watch the show, I feel relieved when I see Radar's shoulder at the beginning of the credits. You recently played the song from the movie. I didn't much care for the movie, but I loved the song, the tune anyway. I didn't care for the suicide part. When I was in medical school, there's a lot of people in medical school now. Emma is...
A lot of smart people listen to our podcast.
When I was in medical school studying anatomy, I rewrote the words to the song. Here is the chorus. Now, I'm not going to sing this. I'm not in voice, as they say, but I will read this. Anatomy is painful. I find it quite disdainful, but I can memorize it if I must. And you can do the same thing. This I trust. Pretty cool.
That's good.
I like it. Thank you for MASH Matters. I'm a primary care doctor in the Boston area. I listen to your podcast when I'm driving to work, and I always get there with a smile on my face. I'm almost caught up. Hope you keep going for many, many years. Well, with your help, doctor, we will. Thank you. That's very sweet.
A doctor from the Winchester region.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, spoiler alert for all of that, Henry dying, Trapper leaving, Radar leaving. If you're early into watching the series and you were just finding that out, I'm sorry.
Oh, she wasn't kidding? Wait a minute. What happened? Trapper left? Trapper? Oh, yeah.
All right, here is a message from Lauren. Dear Jeff and Ryan, unlike a lot of viewers of the show and fans of the podcast, I'm a relatively new fan of MASH. Lauren, sorry about the spoilers in that previous letter. I remember watching bits and pieces of the show when my dad would watch reruns when I was a kid, but now, as an adult, I decided to give it a watch on a whim one day. Needless to say, it hooked me in immediately. Many people in my generation don't really watch MASH, but this podcast is a really cool way for me to hear from other fans. And sometimes it feels like we're all sitting together, geeking out and learning from each other. In a recent episode, number 144, another listener left a voicemail about BJ's characterization after he grew his mustache. If I might say a word in the defense of BJ, I personally feel like BJ's characterization evolved in a very natural way and was not a sudden change after the mustache. While the war softened several characters and made them more vulnerable and open, such as Hawkeye, Margaret, and Charles, other characters became more hardened, like BJ. To me, this did not make me dislike the character, as it felt extremely realistic given their circumstances. I also don't think it was a sudden change. In Dear Sigmund, Season 5, Episode 8, Sydney describes BJ as calm and serene amongst the chaos of war, but then notes there must be a volcano under there somewhere. Dr. Friedman nails it, even in the pre-stash era, and perfectly describes BJ's personality over the seasons. As someone who can appear nonchalant but who feels things very deeply, I can relate to BJ and understand how he changed throughout the war. It makes him a very compelling, grounded character. It's also worth noting that his situation was a bit unique amongst the other characters, in that his daughter is at an age where she is experiencing her first and growing up in a world without knowing who her dad is. Like BJ says in Period of Adjustment in Season 8, Episode 6, even if he went home tomorrow, he would never get those experiences of her firsts back. For BJ, that has got to be so heartbreaking and devastating to think about, and is something not many characters we know at the 4077 can relate to. In Korea, it might feel as if time is at a standstill, but back home, the world goes on without you. I can't imagine the frustration and anger BJ must feel at losing the right to raise his daughter, especially when family is such an integral part of his character. It seems realistic that a simple misunderstanding from a toddler would cause an emotional reaction given BJ's circumstances. In the worst of times, it's hard not to catastrophize. At some point, everything you have bottled up takes its toll. MASH is all about humanity and the character's abilities to feel the gamut of human emotions, whether that is joy, anger, jealousy, or sadness. It's refreshing to see characters feel. Thanks again, Jeff and Ryan, for providing a space for new and veteran MASH fans to chat and learn new things. Best, Lauren from Toledo, gateway to Zanesville. Well, there you go.
Wow.
Speaking of Toledo.
Yeah.
That is some very well thought out support for BJ.
Wasn't it? I mean, I'm listening to it and reading it. My goodness. I have to say, all of our folks who write into us, we have a smart bunch of geeks on listening to our podcast, don't we?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Wow. The analysis of these things, even if we don't necessarily disagree with them, wow, are they terrific and insightful and well expressed. I'm very impressed with everybody who listens to this podcast and who sends these wonderful comments in.
Yeah.
Beautifully done. Thank you. What a wonderful expression that she had of this episode and all the things that she's saying about BJ. And I agree 100%.
Thank you, Lauren. When we finally get to Tony Paco's, we'll buy you a hot dog.
And Julie says, listen to your recent podcast, Counterfeit Clinger. On a similar note, season 4, episode 1, during morning formation, Clinger can be seen in the middle of the formation, but in the wide shot, Clinger is standing at the end, where Major Houlihan can be seen walking to the formation. She is seen walking to Clinger to confiscate his flower hat, but they reappear in the middle. It was just too funny to watch. Keep up the great podcast. Yeah, people bounced around in certain shots. They just didn't. Where was I standing? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. Nobody's going to notice.
Yeah.
40 years from now, just stand wherever you want. Then we heard from our friend Manfred across the pond. He is referring to the episode We Got Nothing, where we came in unprepared. He says, hello, Jeff and Ryan. I just had the pleasure to listen to your latest We Got Nothing, and I don't know why Ryan gets so anxious about these impromptu episodes. You did what you always do. You entertain the troops, and you do it with style. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this? Imagine you were asked to write and direct a theater play, a 90-minute two-parter about the 4077. How would you do it? Would you base it on any existing episode, or would you come up with a totally different story? Which characters would you use? Burns, Potter, Winchester, or even new people yet unknown to us? Let's hear about this. And one other thing. You asked about ideas for the show. I know the Advent calendar isn't widely popular in the United States, but it's enjoyed by many people around the world. You could do 24 short episodes of MASH Matters, each 3 to 5 minutes in length, and post them daily from the 1st of December to the 24th of December for your Patreons. Best greetings from the 51st parallel. Well, thank you, Manfred. I'll tell you that Advent calendars have become more popular here in the States in recent years. So, yes, they are popular, but doing 24 short episodes we do good to get one full-length episode out every 2 weeks. Doing 24 3-minute episodes. Whew, I'm sweating right now even thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm starting to tremble.
Yeah. It's a good idea. Don't get me wrong. It's a good idea. But
And if you were going to write and direct a theater play, 90-minute two-parter about the 4077, how would you do it? Would you start all over? Would you invent new people? How would you do it?
Well, okay. Now, I have expressed my contempt for the MASH play on this podcast before. There is a play version of MASH that is presented by community theaters around the country. I do not like this play at all. It's more based on the movie than it is the show. But when people produce it, they tend to try to imitate the characters from the show. And I don't want to see somebody trying to be Alan Alda. I want to see Alan Alda. Mm-hmm. That said, if I were to write a play about the 4077, because of my connections, I feel like the best thing for me to do is to do a full-length one-man show about Igor Straczynski.
Oh, you said that exactly the way I asked you to say it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Perfectly done.
First of all, we've all agreed that he's the unsung hero of the 4077. Mm-hmm. He does not get as much screen time as he deserved. And I think he has a lot of secrets and stories. He sees everything and he sees them up close and personal. And I think the whole show of him just recounting these stories from the 4077, he would be later in life. He's a little bit older.
Oh, boy, he sure is.
He's just a little bit older, so he's looking back. He's reminiscing about his time at the 4077. The only thing is I'm not sure who I would get to play Igor. But other than that...
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. What did you say? What? Huh? Wait,
we'd have to have auditions, obviously.
Auditions? Oh, no, again?
I'd like to find a Jeff Maxwell type somewhere. Do you know anybody, Jeff?
I don't know. I'll call my agent, see if he knows somebody, if I can get him on the phone. Oh, my. Great idea, though. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful idea. A great insight into a part of MASH we have not yet seen the total insight we need to see.
Exactly. Private Igor, Dishing the Truth.
Ah,
That's a working title.
perfect.
Serving
Yeah, okay.
up justice. No, I don't know.
Oh,
I got to think about that. But thank you,
okay.
Manfred, for getting the wheels turning. Now, Manfred was not the only person who had thoughts about our We Got Nothing episode.
Andy says, Dear Jeff and Ryan, I just wanted to check on your well-being after the last episode, as it seems clear to me that immediately before recording, you both sustained head injuries in a Jeep accident and had to keep talking in order to maintain consciousness until radar arrived. Fortunately, I'm one of those weird people who count Hawkeye among their very favorite episodes of MASH. So I loved every minute, from the talk of cataracts and sinuses to the spirited performance of Hunan's on first. Actually, it's Hunan's on first, but Alan and I can disagree with that. Right. Might I suggest in the future, when recording episodes like this one, that they be referred to as Hawkeye episodes? Aha! Hey, we've run out of time this month. Better do a Hawkeye episode. How about life got in the way recently? Let's pull a Hawkeye this week. Either that, or you could both take a bunch of gummies and do a Dreams-inspired episode instead. Who was it? Oh, Andy. Andy's a comedy writer. Looking forward to more fantastic content, coherent or not, in 2026. Take care. That's great. Very funny.
Very funny. Very funny. Hawkeye episode. Yeah, I like that.
I like it too. That's great. Boy, all these folks are intelligent and even funny. How do you like that?
Why are they listening to us?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Wow.
Get it.
Okay, so our friend Lisa, who is an OG fan, she's part of the old guard. She's been with us from day one. She let us know that, yes, Yinzer is the name for people from Pittsburgh and the general western Pennsylvania area. I'm originally from Johnstown and consider myself a Yinzer. A specific word, Yins, is our name for you guys, such as, are Yins coming over to watch tonight's Steelers game? Hope that helps. Thank you, Lisa. That was from a listener who had Yinzer, like proud to be a Yinzer was their name on Twitter, X, whatever it is. And we didn't know exactly what Yinzer was, but there it is.
I had a Yinzer on my neck, but I got cream ointment, took it right away.
Here's our bingo game.
Yeah. Howard says, hi, guys. Here are some of my thoughts for merch. I received a MASH license to put on the front of my truck. It is painted camouflage on the background with MASH 4077 in black lettering and a red cross. Secondly, I read the MASH historian, and he wrote about MASH calendars. Finally, there are clings that can be put on the glass of vehicles. My wife has a vinyl cling that says, you say witch like it's a bad thing. But she is very sweet most of the time. Well, that's nice. Good. I'm happy for you. I bought 2 of your T-shirts and have worn them out many times. They have brought many smiles and people have read them. Keep up the good work, and I hope that I've been helpful. Oh, of course you've been helpful.
Yes.
You took up, a minute there, Howard, of our podcast. That's always helpful for us.
And you gave us some ideas of things we probably will never, ever put into our merch stand. But hey, You never know. I mean, I don't know where you get license plates and how you get them manufactured.
Yeah.
I mean, prisons, right? I guess that's what they do in prisons. From my youth, that was something I remember. Prisoners were the ones making license plates.
Where are you, Howard? Just tell us. And clings. Have you ever heard of a cling? I don't.
Oh yeah. I actually created one for my own car. I have a MASH Matters cling on my back windshield.
Oh.
But I had that just made just for me. I don't know that the company we work with makes those yet. But if they do, I'm hoping that maybe that's something that they could offer in the future.
Oh, so a cling is just a fun thing you stick on places.
It's like the modern bumper sticker.
Oh.
On the back of their windshields, they will put these cling decals on the backs, like with stick figures and witty sayings and things like, you say which, like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever have those, but maybe, who knows? Maybe we will.
I learned something on MASH Matters today. I didn't know the word cling actually meant a thing you can stick on something. I mean, I understand what cling means, and I understand the connection between sticking something on something and it clings to, but I didn't know it was a name of a thing that you stuck on something that would cling. Well, and it makes sense now. I'll stop talking.
You know what we could do? we could come up with a line of MASH-inspired clings and call them clingers.
Oh, doggies, you are on fire. Oh, that's great. Wow.
Call Shark Tank.
I'll call Shark.
Book us on the next show.
Margaret, come in here a minute. We got an idea.
Also, the MASH calendar.
Yeah.
Do you want like scantily clad photos of me and Jeff? I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. But thank you, Howard, for buying some shirts from our merch store, which you can get at mashmatters.com. A few other ideas for merch. Charlene says, how about a t-shirt with pictures of both Walter and George?
Oh, that's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah, you just have George just perched up on Walter's head. I don't know. Melanie, how about merch with lots of famous and best quotes from over the years? Well, we do have a couple of those already, but maybe we can put a few more in there.
Yeah.
And then Robbie said, Charles Toboggan Cap is a great idea, but we would have to have like a warehouse of little old ladies in there knitting toboggan caps. And that costs a lot of money. There's labor involved, unions, and it's just a lot of stuff.
Right.
Now we are going to pause and say hello and thank you to some folks who have recently jumped on and supported us on Patreon, who actually fund this crap, if you can believe it. Including Private Eric Renaud.
And Private David Belson.
Corporal Logan Hasbrook.
Captain Bill Ricketts.
And recently promoted from private to captain, Captain Heath Daniels. Thank you for your continuing support on Patreon. If you would like to support the show for as little as $3 a month, you can do that at matchmatters.com/support. And as always, we apologize to anyone whose last name we destroyed.
And speaking of Randall, which we weren't, but I'm saying that anyway. Randall writes, Jeff, I'm sure you're getting a lot of hints about your surgery. Let me give you mine since I had both eyes done, one in July of this year and one in September. My doctor talked me out of the fancy lens for reasons you gave, plus the fact that I have a little bit of swelling in one eye. My optometrist offered 4 plans, only one of which was covered by insurance. That one would involve a manual scalpel. That one would involve a manual scalpel to the eye, where the others were laser driven. The lens I chose removed the need for far-away glasses, but I still have to use glasses to read. The procedure was relatively quick and painless. The word relatively is the thing that bothers me. After they prep you, that bothers me too. After they prep you with an IV line for the anesthetic, they put you on a table and strap your head down. Well, you're really calming me down. Thanks so much for writing.
Clockwork Orange, I think, was the movie about cataract surgery, wasn't it?
I'm feeling so much better. I can't wait. Please, strap my head down, will you, Doc? Then you are slid into a machine that floods your eye with a liquid and takes photos of the eye. I'll have 3 8x10s, doctor. You are then whisked away to the operating room where the anesthetic is administered. You're awake but calm. Oh, yeah, really? And lights are flashed in your eyes for about 6 minutes. After they release you, you have to use these medicated eye drops for 4 weeks. You have to wear sunglasses for 3 weeks, and you can't pick up more than 10 pounds for 3 weeks. Good luck. It'll be fine. Really? Oh, boy. Fine, I'm not sure is the word.
So did that put you at ease?
Yeah, Randall, thanks so much. I feel so much more enthusiastic about having my head strapped down and my eyes flooded with stuff and whisked away to the operating room. No, but thank you for your kind illustration of your procedure, and I wish you luck. I hope everything is going well and you can see whatever you want to see.
And wearing sunglasses for 3 weeks, I mean, you live in Southern California. Everybody wears sunglasses all the time anyway.
That doesn't bother me. I have to wear them. Otherwise, people see my dimples and people stalk me and run after me. So I have to wear sunglasses constantly.
Hey, this is just a couple of links that were sent to us that we will share in the show notes for this episode. One is a link that was sent to us by several people. Richard, Eric, Chase, and Chris all sent us a Facebook link to an artist who uses, I don't know if this is AI or what they use, but it's an artist named Avionics. on Facebook. Avionics created, not real, unfortunately, action figures for MASH characters, including a Private Igor action figure.
Wow.
Which is a little strange because it looks more like Steve Carell than Jeff Maxwell. But it's not bad. It comes with a chef's ladle, a chef's hat, and a mess tray with food that looks inedible. We will put a link to that, and you can see also there's Frank Burns, there's Father Mulcahy, Sherman Potter, everybody. Even Nurse Kelly has an action figure there. And we'll put a link to that in the show notes for this episode. And also, we received a link from Gary, who alerted us to a MASH trivia game app on the Apple Store, the Apple App Store. I don't know if this is available on anything other than Apple products, but we'll put a link to that as well. Somebody, a couple of guys, friends, MASH fans, they put together an app that has MASH trivia. And it's free. And so I went ahead and downloaded it. Now, I don't know if this is like Chinese spyware and the entire government over there knows everything about myself and my phone. That could be too, but it's free. So,
hey, free.
If you want to try it, check out the link in the show notes.
I want one of those action figures of Igor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Even though it looks like Steve Carell. Somebody told me once, Jeff, Steve Carell got your career, but I leave that alone. I'm fine with my career. It's okay.
Oh, I could get Steve Carell to play in the Private Igor one-man show.
Okay, that's enough for the MASH Matters podcast today. While we take this momentary break, I have to say something about Facebook. I've gotten so many links to various things on Facebook about MASH crew. And you and I have talked about this, and Karen Lieberman brought this up one time.
Yes.
And quite frankly, if people want to post pictures of people and say, hey, I loved Alan Alda and so forth, that's great. But to do these AI-produced people of MASH, one was they were pushing Alan Alda in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Mike Farrell was pushing him in a wheelchair, and Gary Burgard was pushing someone in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And they have all these things, and they're all just really repulsive. Whatever you're doing it for, go get a different job. I mean, I don't know whether that's a monetized thing or you click and then you get a nickel or whatever it is. But please stop doing it. It's really hurtful to the people who you feel so close with and so close to, and you think you're honoring them. You're not honoring them. You're really insulting them. So whoever you are, and I know it's not our listeners, and our listeners, you can feel free to go out and set fire to other people's houses if they're doing it. No, I'm kidding. Don't go out and set fire to anybody's house.
No, don't do that.
Our listeners are not doing that. But gosh, if anybody who isn't our listener happens to hear this and they do this on Facebook, please don't do it. It's just not nice. It's not nice.
Yeah, there's one thing such as fan fiction. People like writing fan fiction about their favorite shows. There's nothing wrong with that. But in these instances, they're insinuating that it's real life, real life stories from the set, real life stories happening now, real life stories from Loretta's funeral, which that didn't happen. So, I mean, these are fake stories. And what's sad is how many people think that they're real and share them and comment on them. And it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And yes, we've gotten several messages ourselves, people sending us links saying, so is this true? Is this real? And here's the thing. If it sounds too good to be real, if it's too heartfelt to be real, if the photo is obviously not real, then no, it's not real.
Yeah.
So please don't share it.
Yep.
All right.
That said, Michael says, hi, guys. Caught up with the podcast, but just found the 3 live streams you did under a different tab on YouTube. In the second one, you guys are lamenting that the Reels special seems to be nowhere to be found. Reels is Reelz. It's a network.
Yeah.
I see that this video was posted 2 years ago, so you've probably been alerted to this already, but just in case. The Reels 2022 doc, MASH, When Television Changed Forever, is free on Tubi at the moment. And Michael provides a link.
Yes, we have a link there that we will put in the show notes. This is cool. This is the documentary that Jeff and I were invited out to be a part of back several years ago, back during COVID. We were out there in Southern California. I went out and they interviewed us, and I know Mike Farrell's on there and Jamie Farr and Elliot Gould. And so, I mean, there's a lot of cool people on there, but it's this great documentary called MASH, When Television Changed Forever. It aired on Reels. They did put out a DVD version since then as well. But if you would like to watch it, you can watch it for free on Tubi. And we have the link there in the show notes for this episode. Just go there, click the link, and watch. And if you've never seen us in person, nowadays, you can see that we still have the faces for podcasting. At least one of us does. I'm not going to say which one.
I think they did a close-up of my dimples, actually, in one of the shots.
Now, I am a lot grayer and heavier and fuzzier than when they shot that.
Me too.
It's amazing how just a few years.
Yeah. Grayer and fuzzier.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what I am.
Yeah. But it is nice. It is nice that it's available out there. So please go and watch it. We had a wonderful time shooting.
We did. A lot of nice people.
Tyrone says, "Hi, Ryan and Jeff. I was born in 69 and discovered MASH in its last couple of seasons through watching new episodes when they aired in reruns. I remember the exact spot on my parents' front room carpet where I sat when Hawkeye read BJ's message in the final episode. And when I watch that episode now, I feel the same sadness that it is over and I have to say goodbye to my second family. MASH is a show that always makes me happy no matter what. A few months ago, I had the wonderful bucket list opportunity of visiting the outdoor filming site. It was awesome seeing in person. Later that evening, I discovered your podcast and it quickly put all of the other podcasts on hold. While there have been a few books written about the show, they all left me wanting more. More behind the scenes, more discussion, more insight, more love for the show. Your podcast has done that. 20 years from now, when people are discovering and falling in love with MASH for the first time, someone will point them to your podcast, which will be as classic as the show itself. For me, the most thought-provoking moment in the show is the episode Lifetime, when BJ brings a freshly removed aortic graft to Hawkeye, who says, "What took you so long?" And BJ responds, "The guy it was attached to was still using it." Don't know why, but that scene always has had an effect on me. One question I have is regarding the tents. On stage 9, was one tent used and redressed each time for whichever character was using it, like Potter, Klinger, Houlihan, Mulcahy, Nurses, VIP, or were there permanent set tents for each? Thank you for a great podcast. Definitely my favorite. Well, first of all, Tyrone, thank you for your very sweet message. I also remember where I was when I was watching the finale and going to my room and crying my eyes out, so I totally understand that. Your reference to 20 years from now, when people are discovering MASH, somebody's going to point them to our podcast. I think about 20 years from now is when we're going to be getting around to the season 10 recap. So that'll be good timing, really, yes. Honestly. The question about the tents. Jeff, you, of course, can answer this more than I can. What's your take on that?
Boy, if I could remember, I'd be happy to tell you. I know there were a bunch of tents there. I think there was a slight bit of redressing occasionally, because sometimes the entire tent was not shown. If, the VIP showed up, it was just kind of a close-up and you just saw a door. So they didn't really have to have individual tents for every situation that might come up. So maybe there were one or two tents that were interchangeable, depending on who was there and what scene was going on and how much of the tent area they were going to see in that shot. Yeah.
Tyrone now has me, though, when I'm watching the show, I'm going to have to pay close attention to this, because I want to watch when people are in other tents, whether it's Margaret's tent or the nurse's tent or Klinger's tent or Potter's tent. I'm going to try to pay more attention to the tents and see, okay, I see a window here that the other tents don't have, or maybe they are the same tent and they just are really good at redressing them. Obviously, Margaret's tent, I think, had the most dressing on it.
Yes.
So, but I don't know if that means that it had its own tent or if it was just redressed to be Margaret's tent. That's a great question.
I think Margaret's tent was permanent.
Okay.
Because she was a permanent character. The others may not have been. The others, would have facilitated whoever showed up, whatever they needed for a tent. But Margaret's was definitely a permanent tent.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Now, we're going to wrap up with a big announcement here, because Tyrone mentioned that he recently went out to the outdoor filming site. And we've been in touch recently with our friend Brian Rooney, who heads up the volunteers who maintain the outdoor filming site. And we just heard from him recently.
And Brian says the historic MASH set in Malibu Creek State Park needs your help. The park volunteers who keep the old set running need to buy new camouflage netting for the shade structure to keep site visitors cool on hot summer days. The shade structure is where the mess tent on the show once stood and is almost 50 feet long. So a lot of camo netting is needed, please, I'll say this too, please help the cause by going to the MASH page at the Malibu State Park link and donating what you can. And I assume we'll put that link up there on the...
Oh, yes. We will put a direct link to the MASH page at the Malibu Creek State Park website on our show notes. We will also be sharing it on social media. If you happen to join us in the 50th anniversary celebration, when Jeff and I were out at the camp back in 2022, you kind of know what we're talking about. There's an area where it's where we recorded our podcast from out there, was in this structure. And there is this camouflage netting. Well, the netting is deteriorating and they need to raise funds for new camo netting. And they're asking if MASH Matters listeners will step up and make a donation. And we hope you will.
Yeah.
It's really nice, especially, like I said, on a hot day. There's nowhere really to escape the sun out there except for this area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's certainly a structure that is near and dear to my heart because it is the mess tent where I spent many, many years.
Yes.
Although not that mess tent, because the inside of the mess tent wasn't real, but that was on the stage. But the exterior is terrific.
I'll post a picture on the show notes for this episode as well from that day when we were out there showing the structure, so you can get an idea of what it is. Mm-hmm. But if you can please click on the link and kick a few bucks over, I know Brian and the volunteers over there would really appreciate it. And I know Jeff and I would really appreciate it as well.
And certainly thanks to Brian Rooney for bringing this to our attention.
Yep.
Brian's a terrific friend of MASH and friend of ours, and he does incredibly wonderful work, working very diligently to keep that area intact so that it isn't overrun with coyotes and a bunch of grass. So he and all of the volunteers work very hard to keep the structure going and keep the park available for everybody to go out and enjoy. So yeah, if you can, throw a couple of bucks, it'll really help.
Thank you in advance, and thanks to all who have sent us letters and messages. You can keep them coming. We have so many to get to. We also are just about to the point where we can maybe do another all voicemail episode. You can call and leave a voicemail under 3 minutes in length at 513-436-4077. You can also email us mashmatterspodcast@gmail.com. You'll find us on Facebook, YouTube, X. You'll find us on Instagram. You'll find us at your table for Sunday dinner if it's something really good and tasty. Thank you. And again, you can check out the merch that we do have. We don't have the license plates and the toboggan caps yet, but you can check out what we do have at our store there at mashmatters.com.
Really cool. Our merch is really cool stuff. I wear my MASH t-shirt around and people go, "Oh, wow, it's a t-shirt. Great. Thank you. Oh, I want one of those."
And you look like Steve Carell.
I get it all the time. Yeah. I'm going to start signing autographs. Steve Carell.
All right. We'll be back with a new episode soon. Until then, here's looking up your old address.